All right, now we can talk about them. Spanking, taking their phones away. No, just kidding. It is a pleasure to have Mrs. Moffitt here. She just delights our soul. And she sent me a text like, just pray for me, and all her ailments and traveling. It's hard, it is really hard. And I'm thankful she's here. I think the thing about her life that is so significant is she's not, she has ailments, she has problems in life, but she still soul wins everywhere she goes. She is happy about serving the Lord. She runs a bus route. She does all these things, and she's happy about it. And she makes us laugh about it. We laugh the whole time she's here, and we can't wait to hear the catastrophe that happened on her way here today, right? And you'll hear it. And but that's what the delight in her is, that we could be the same. I think sometimes I'm such a sissy britches, you get one little ailment, I can't make it through the day, and then you hear her and I'm like, oh my, and she just kind of gives us a little oomph to keep going. So Mrs. Moffitt, you come speak to us. I'm going to run down to the Spanish department and I will be back. So y'all behave.
I need a little help mentally too, but that doesn't work anymore. I'll tell you, things follow me and lead against me. This is my brand new Bible. I spoke 4 times at our conference last week, and they gave me this Bible, and I just treasure it. But I'm going to put it down here because I'm going to drop it. This is my prop. These are my eyes. And, ladies, I don't know about you, but I don't have a boring life at all. There's nothing boring about me. There's something about North Carolina that I think I'm plagued. I have more stuff happen in North Carolina than anywhere I go. I have been speaking this year 5 times in North Carolina. This week, and then I go next week to Winston-Salem. I thought, what is going on? I love the Southern people. You've heard what I say. I'm a Yankee, born, bred, dead. I'm a Yankee. But I always say, I want a Southern heart, because you never seem mean. In classes where I teach at the college, I say to the girls, how many of you are Southern? They even raise their hands nice. This is how I think you are. Oh, I hate you, darling. Bye-bye. You never seem mean, So that's what I'm striving to be, really. Now, wait a minute. Why is that motorbike there? Ladies, I get myself in trouble with this kind of stuff. Or a simple bicycle. I want to ride. And by the way, if you're in a hotel, what do you think I'm going to say? Someone tell me, what is my teaching? Jump on the beds. That's very important, to jump on the beds. And if you get good, you can jump at the same time and maybe even hit hands. If you have 2 beds, just jump and hit hands. If you get really good, you can hit the ceiling. There's so much you can do. I'm not allowed to jump on beds anymore. When I leave town, it's like I'm 3 years old. Have a seat. JoJo, look at me. JoJo, don't start smiling. I'm not. JoJo, you are not allowed to jump on beds. My kids are standing back there laughing their heads off as I'm being scolded. Well, see, I've fallen off beds. I've had all kinds of things happen. I just had my knee replaced on May 13th. 8 years ago, I had the other knee replaced. I just had my hip replaced last year. Then I had 2 spine surgeries. This hip is ripped. And then, now, I've totally torn my rotator cuff where I have to have my shoulder replaced. But the doctor said, we're running out of parts for you. You are having so much happen. Your sister's been such a gem, Cindy Treebo. She'll just text me so many different times to be an encouragement. It's really been special. Tell her I said it openly in front of the whole world. I love her. I love your family. I love your daughter. She's precious, Jen. She's precious. Anyway, I won't start. How many of you ever attended Hyles-Anderson College? Raise your hand. Look how many. Do you know this is like old home week for me? Thank you so much. Thank you for staying. I'll be teaching at the college 50 years in February. And a bus captain, right now, I have been 50 years on the same bus route. Our bus 32 is the best bus. I can't do everything I used to do, but I can do the best I can do. And I'm still a part of it, and I love it. I love the college kids. I love them. I love them. I had classes today that someone covered for me, and when I left, you thought I was going to crash or something. I said, girls, I mean this. They're all watching me, this Christian wife class. I said, I love you. Mrs. Moffitt, you're coming back, aren't you? I don't know. You know, I act like I'm going to go down or something like that. But I love each of you girls, and I hope you may come up and let me give you a hug. I took a shower this morning. I'm okay. Everything I have, my body's diseased. It really is. Nothing you can catch, though. My kidneys are just about gone, but they did blood work, took 8 vials of blood because I had 103 temperature last week, and I was bleeding bad from the kidneys and infection. I haven't had one in a long time. But when you have a kidney disease and you get an infection, that's not good. And then you just went through surgery, and that's hard on the kidneys, because right now they can't do the shoulder because the kidneys are too bad. So when I was so sick last week, I was a little fearful humanly to see my blood work. And Dr. Streeter called me just before I left, and he said, I don't believe it. They're bad, but they're not worse. After everything I've gone through. So I'm hip, hip, hooray, I've got really bad kidneys, but they're not worse. And I thought, but I believe God gives us time. I just keep saying, whatever time you have, it's yours. I started going out speaking 52 years ago. I'm not a speaker. I don't want to be known as a speaker. But if I can encourage people and show love to people and put some B12 shots into you, it's worth it all the way around. But that's what I want. But North Carolina, why do I love it so much? It's because of you. So many of the people I've met through the years. But I've had more things happen. At one time I was speaking, I think 22 years in a row, I spoke at Liberty Baptist Church, if I'm not mistaken. When Pastor Cox, some of you here? Do you remember me? You're probably trying to forget me, right? But 22 years I came, and they always bought our Joy, our little Joy, brand new, beautiful Polly Flanders or Peaches and Cream factory, and give her dresses and she gave all those dresses away to our bus route, which was she saved them for her own little girls and then gave them all away. Our little Joy is expecting twins. We just found this out, and 2 little girls. Joy has lost 6 babies. She adopted a little girl at 5, she's 5 years old now, and then a little boy. She gave her first live birth a year and a half ago. And I'm so excited about it, but such memories I have. Going to your church, I don't know if any of you were there that day. I know people think I make up these stories, like I hallucinate. You know, I'm telling you, they follow me, they precede me. Going to your church, Mrs. Hiles was speaking. Mrs. Hiles is the epitome of a lady. I try. But I mean, I spoke with her one time, and we had matching boxes in Michigan. They gave us a gift, matching, identical, and she opened hers up. It was a beautiful hand-crocheted handkerchief with our initials on it. Oh, I've never had anything so beautiful. I opened up mine, it was a man's handkerchief, written in magic marker, blow with the flow. You know, that's me. But Mrs. Hiles is just the epitome of graciousness, and she was speaking. I've never had a pretty dress like I had that time for that meeting. Someone bought me a beautiful dress, with silky type dress. You know, I just felt like a princess in it. I stopped in the restroom at Durham Airport with Estelle Smith. I had witnesses. And I went like you'd go to the restroom, you know, it's important, it's needful. I went, and when I sat down, I didn't know the toilet seat was up, and I fell to the bottom of the toilet, and my dress, it was clean, but my dress is floating in the toilet. I mean, floating. What would you do? I start laughing hysterically, and now I can't get up out of the toilet. The toilet overflowed, and Estelle's next to me, and she said, JoJo, what are you doing? I said, I can't talk. And she said, are you sick? I said, mentally, I am right now, you know. I dried the dress off, and it wouldn't dry totally, and I'm trying to hurry. Do any of you remember this when this happened? Were any of you there? Were you there? See, someone vouched for these stories. And I'm thinking, how does this happen to me? I thought, this is okay. We're stopping at Bojangles to get me some tea right down the street in your church. And I thought, I'm going to dry it off. So I wet it again, and the hair dryer didn't work. So now it's dripping wet. I'm using paper towels. The paper towels are sticking to the dress. I mean, it was horrible. I got to the church. They're out there with hair dryers trying to dry me off. And I was supposed to speak right then. I said, forget it. I'll just go wet. I sat down to Mrs. Hiles, next to Mrs. Hiles, and she said, oh, JoJo, what happened? The whole seat's wet. It was like I had an accident, you know. This is North Carolina. Or North Carolina, Mrs. Jack Cox, she was with me at this one, and I can't remember the other preacher's wife's name. I was very pregnant. I don't know if any of you were there that day. You were there? Do you remember? You've been everywhere, haven't you? You know, lady, will you vouch for this? I'm big, pregnant big. That day, Sunday before, I was coming home from church. These are not hallucinated things. These happened to me. We're on our way home, Joe, Beth, and Bob Hooker. I rode home with them instead of my husband, Roy, because I was tired. It was going in my 9th month. And on our way home, we got hit, a hit and run, a drunken driver in a stolen car hit us head on. And I was thrown into the seat in front of me, very pregnant, but you didn't have seat belts in these old vans. And the next time I know, I'm in an ambulance. My son took off running to try to catch my husband at the church, like we're 4 or 5 blocks, down what we call the golf ball church, over on Soul Street. It looks like a golf ball church. And so Justin ran, he goes, Dad, Daddy. My husband was coming out of church, and he's, Dad, and saw the ambulance. Mom's in that ambulance. What do you mean? We went to the hospital, they couldn't pick up a heartbeat. And I was very pregnant. And you can imagine, it was a shock, I'm sure, because then they got a heartbeat. Went to the doctor the next day, and she said, yeah, you're going to be fine. I said, no, I'm supposed to go to North Carolina this Friday. And I said, I don't know if you wanted me to. It's my last meeting. She says, no, I told you could go. You go. So I go and get on the plane, taught my classes during the week, got on the plane. When I landed there and went in the restroom, I was bleeding. That is not a good sign. I called Dr. Rollins, my doctor, and she says, come to my house right now. I live right near her. I said, I'm in North Carolina. She said, what are you doing there? I said, you told me to go. She goes, that's right. Now here's what you need to do. You need to go sit down in an easy chair with a cushion, an ottoman, with your feet up. Does that look special? You're coming as a, Miss Priss. I said, could someone get me a cold Pepsi, please? And I sat there, and in your mind, though, there's a problem. And right after, I went to the emergency room. We went there, special unit, of course. And as I got in this hospital, I looked on this big chart. And each room, it said clean, clean, unclean. I went, in North Carolina, they put down if you're a clean person or a dirty person. And I thought, what? I'm clean, but my feet, I had these shoes on all day. Big as a house. Renee Cox was with me with another preacher. I'm picking up my leg to put it in the sink in the room I'm in to try to wash my feet, and the doctor walks in. He said, what are you doing? And I said, getting clean? He said, we're not going to check your feet. I said, I know. It's a long story. And I went and laid down. They checked me. And then he said, we had 1 girl and 4 boys. He said, well, what do you want? I thought, these high-tech hospitals can change the gender of the baby. And I said, well, I'd love to have a little girl. He was doing an ultrasound. He said, you want what? I said, a little girl. He goes, oh. I said, why? He said, I don't want to build your hopes. I said, it's a girl. So then we get all done. Oh, I'm so excited. All these tests, blood work, everything like that. We're getting ready. And I had this doctor laughing so hard. I find humor every now and then. And so I'm just laughing around. I go back to watch that chart with my room number. Unclean. Oh! The doctor's right there. He goes, what's wrong now? I said, my room? You saw me washing my feet. You saw me doing it. Why did you put unclean? He starts laughing. He said, that means the room is dirty. Now, someone used it. It's unclean. It has to be cleaned and new papers and all. I went, ah. He said, if I could have hired you to come here tonight, I would have hired you. And so I'm standing in line now to get the bill, right? The doctor's just standing there. I said, yes, sir? He said, hold on. He said, don't you charge her 1 dime. This is on me. I never got a bill, neither did the church. The worst situation was just a couple years ago. Kannapolis. I was just there a month ago. Not Superman, where he lives, but Kannapolis, you know where it is. They had a Batman, Superman hero. You may have heard the story, but I want to tell it. I dressed as Bat Mom. Joy was with me. She dressed as Bat Daughter. We had everything, the masks on, the shirts, you should have seen us getting off the plane. We looked a little weird. I thought, hey, we'll just give all these people some fun, and we went to the meeting and everything like that. And when they introduced the speakers, they came down. This was all black like a wood board, and two big, see those pillars? They were more narrow than these pillars. Right here was a pillar, right here was a pillar. 20 foot up. Were any of you there? Oh, I wish someone had been there. As they introduced Batman, all this music, Batman came down. Then Superman, then Captain America. Oh, my heart, I thought, this is so exciting. Joy was speaking just before lunch. And now we have Joy Moffitt Zeck. She doesn't go by Joy Moffitt Zeck. She's married, but they all know her as Joy Moffitt Zeck. So where is she? She doesn't, they're playing the piano, and Joy Moffitt Zeck. She came down from behind, came down that pole. I bet I could do that. During lunch, I went and practiced. You had to go up this 20-foot ladder, and Batman was a cute black boy. He said, Mrs. Moffitt, I'll go down and you hold on to me. I said, that doesn't look good at all, me hanging on you coming down a pole. And he said, no, I'll hold the ladder. When we got up there, Joy went with me when it's time. And I got up this real high ladder, and on top I went, oh no. There was like a plank. You had to walk across this moving piece of wood to get to the edge about this narrow and turn with no railing and walk across it. I thought, that's going to be so embarrassing if I fall and die in front of all these people. And Joy says, Mom, I'll go first, then you go. Like she's professional now. I said, wait a minute, the pole's out here. I'm here. What do I do? She says, it's simple, Mom. Just take your arms and grab the pole and pull your body as fast as you can. I did. It was like a slingshot. Boom, boom. I went to the bottom, just like a slingshot. And I landed on a piece of metal on the knee that I had just had replaced. And I could feel it going, getting bigger. And all I could picture was my husband saying, you are not to jump on beds. He did not say not to come down a pole. He didn't say that. So I came, and Joyce said, Mom, you're hurt, aren't you? I said, I think so. Well, Kathy Berry's a preacher's wife in Charlotte. And just before that, I said, boy, I think I could do that. She said, what do you do on Sundays when you travel? I said, well, sometimes we go to Chipotle. I cook a hot meal pretty much every day. And I always leave food when I die in case my plane goes down, so his new wife knows I took good care of him while I was alive. That's important. And leave the house in order and love notes and spray his side of the bed with my perfume, but not enough to asphyxiate him, but he knows I was there. And so I thought, I said, I usually go to Chipotle, but not always. Sometimes I cook on Sunday, but usually if the bus route and all, it's kind of busy. And so she said, I'll give you $50 if you come down that pole. Oh, I knew I could do it then. I got up, walked across, grabbed that pole. Joy went down, and they were just clapping. And when I came down, I lost control of the crowd. They were laughing and crying and shit, crying. And I went, I'm dead. And Joy said, Mom, we'll get you a chair. Same thing. Chair, ottoman, there I am again. And I'm not kidding you. All of a sudden, I looked down the aisleway, right where you are, with the greenish colored on, and this lady unscrewed her prosthesis, her leg. It was an artificial knee and a foot, and she held it up. And I said to my daughter, I said, Joy, is that a leg? She goes, yes. And she ran back to get it and brought it up to me, like the lady was trying to salvage my life and brings me up her artificial leg. Well, things like that, you're trying to finish up a meeting. I could not get control of the crowd. I could not get control of them. And I'm laughing, and I thought, JoJo, stop it. We finally finished. We got on the plane. We'd look at each other. We're sitting across from each other. We both would just break out laughing because we're thinking, they got me a little tiny ice pack from the nursery. And then I got stopped at the CSA or whatever they are because you can't have ice. So we're laughing. We get in the car. I got in the front seat. She's in the back seat. My husband says, how'd the meeting go? Great. It went great. Well, I had the ice pack on the top of my purse, and when I set it on the console, it fell right over on Roy's lap. He said, "Is that an ice pack?" And I said, "I think it is. I do believe it is." And he said, "You were jumping on beds." I said, "No, I promise you. I came down a 20-foot pole." "What? Oh, why do I let you loose? I'm not a dog, That wasn't the worst of it. The worst of it was Monday to go see the surgeon. That is my surgeon right now, this knee that I just had done a few weeks ago. And the nurse came in and said, "Could you tell me, how did this happen?" I acted as nonchalant as anything. "Well, I was at a ladies' meeting." "Oh, that was nice." I said, "They had a Batman, Superman, hero, and Jesus was a Superman." She goes, "Oh, that's so nice, but how about your knee?" I said, "Well, they had 2 20-foot poles." She said, "You didn't." I said, "I did." "Why?" I said, "Well, my friend offered me $50. And she goes, "How old are you?" I was 75 or something like that. And she said, "You did all that for this?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I didn't think it'd be a problem at all." And she's laughing her head off. She goes out in the hallway, and she's laughing, and all of them. They're laughing. The doctor walks in, he goes, "Why don't you work for me? Why don't you work for me? Just greet people." He said, you went up? I said, No, I went down. I was just at that church a month ago. He said, "Wait a minute," the same surgeon, he goes, "Is that the church that you came down the 20-foot pole?" I said, "Yes, sir." "Oh, you will not go down." "No, sir, I will not go down the 20-foot pole." So sometimes you have excitement in your life, but what I wanted to share with you, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm doing a continuation tomorrow of this. So I think I'm talking about be of good cheer. Get it? And I have to bring, one time I was Snow White and brought the 7 dwarf outfits. I do all this crazy stuff. But I just want to share something about be of good cheer. I'll go until I have to stop, and then I'll continue it tomorrow. How's that? But I want to kind of tell you, when things go wrong, and things do go wrong, don't lose your joy. Have that courage, that cheer that you need in your life. But I jot down some verses. I'm just referring, write down the reference, don't write down the verses. Cheer means courage, enthusiasm, spirited. I say, I have nothing left in my body I can donate. Nothing. My kidneys are bad, my liver's bad, my heart's damaged. I had high cholesterol. My eyes, I had, not my eyes taken out, I had, what do they call it, cataracts and lenses put in there so that my lungs are damaged. My bones are leaving one after another. What am I going to donate? My grandson, a few years ago, you know how they could transplants, like heart transplants, and he said, he raises his hand at junior high school, "Please pray for my Nana. Please pray someone dies real soon so she gets a new knee." It's a metal with a rod is what it is. I'm not asking people to die so I can get their knee. But something I wish I can transfer? My spirit. I work on it all the time because the devil hates me. He hates me witnessing to those people today. Ladies, I'm just sharing the things that happen that could pull your spirit if you catch. I've written 3 books. By the way, they're all being reprinted right at this time. All my books are out of print. Grace to Grow is our church bookstore and all, under Brother Wilkerson. They're reprinting all my books for me. And what they're going to do is I'm going to let them have the profits. And if I want to buy them and sell them, because I use them to put kids in our Christian school, I'm so excited about it. We changed the pictures, we changed the cover, but we're having the same book. It's just the idea, and if you've read any of my books, they're all funny stories of trauma. They're all trauma. That's all it is. All that when this happened, and she almost died here, but she lived again, and and keeps going on. Coming here to this meeting, I woke up. I've been up since 2:30. I did real well, Mimi, when you were talking, I did real well. As you were closing up, all of a sudden, it was like someone had given me 8 Benadryl. I've been up since 2:30, so it's a few hours, and because I didn't want to miss the alarm at 3:30. And I wanted to take a shower and wash my hair, and we're on the road at 4:30 to leave for the airport. And we live like this. Our alarm goes off 5 days a week at 4:30 a.m. I'm at the college before 6. I start counseling at 6:30. People say, now that you're 78. The doctor said I'd never live to my 40th birthday. I have medullary sponge kidneys, and it's damaged a lot of the liver and different things. My kidneys are turning to stone. I have over 100 kidney stones in me today. And when they move, they bleed. And when they bleed, it hurts. But somehow God lets me keep coming back. and I'm so grateful. 4 doctors said I would never live to my 40th birthday. Dr. Steen, Dr. Reed, Dr. Ashbeck, and Dr. Errol Smith. All of them said I'd be dead by age 40. I just turned 78. All 4 doctors have died. Don't mess with me, please. All 4 doctors we personally led to Jesus Christ, and one was a Jewish doctor. I don't know about you, but you can take turmoil and trials into joy. It's how you look at it. People aren't drawn to people like this. How are you? Do you have a week? No, I take it to God. And in classes, if any of you have been in a class with me, or Mrs. Evans, who I assisted her for 25 years, my joy of joys, is I take the problem in the right hand, representing the right hand of God, put the problem here, and get it quickly, lift it to the heavenlies. Let it go. Let it go, let it go. And that's one that's sang that in a cartoon or something. But no, but we take it back. Give it to him again. He can take it where no one else can. My husband, someone said to him the other day, what do you do for entertainment? He said, I live with JoJo. And that's what he said. He said, I live with JoJo. He said, her spirit is never pulled. Because I quickly go to God. Don't you think, I mean, like right now I have tremors so bad I'm not nervous. They thought it was Parkinson's, it's not. It's pain a lot dealing with this right now. This is as high as it'll go. But I hope I don't show it, other than I'm trying to teach you. Don't you quit. Don't you quit. You keep on keeping on. How did this happen? On 4th of July, my son-in-law, I think he was helping me, getting into a pontoon after just having the knee replaced. He was helping me down a large step. He's 6'8". My husband's 5'10". The step was about this wide, long, wide, deep, deep. And so as I'm getting in, he pulls this shoulder up. My husband pulls this way, and this just tore right out. I think he was trying to kill me again. But and every time I tell that story, he goes, oh, please, don't, please. I said, you tried to kill me again. You're still paying me that dowry you owe me on my daughter. You know, he goes, how long is that going to go on? I said, forever, you know. But, you know, you're going to have to think, okay, coming here. This is all preview to tomorrow, so be back tomorrow, okay? Because this is what happened coming here. I didn't get a lot of sleep, but I'm very happy. Talked all the way here with my husband, laughed. He hugged me and kissed me so many times you would have thought he had the plane planned to go down. Because I love you, and I love it. He calls me when I'm gone. We'll be married 60 years, February 15th. We've been dating for 62 years, steady. It's getting serious. When we left each other, it was of joy and love, respect, everything. I just love him. I love him. I love him. The more Mrs. Evans taught this, any of you had classes, who you think on, who you plan for, who you pray for, who you do for is who you love. Think about your husband a good way. Think about him, plan for him, pray for him, do for him. I can't help but love him. So anyway, I'm on my way here. Witness to the couple next to me, Sarah and Thomas, he said. They were coming to a wedding, both saved. I was almost disappointed because I thought for sure they were going to get saved. But we shared good things, and they just were, I promised to send him my book. He wanted to, I'll give you the money. I said, no, it's a gift. A gift, you just accept it like you accepted salvation. You don't pay for it. He said, oh, this trip has been worth to meet you. I said, oh, you're so kind. Well, this baby, 2 behind me, is just crying and crying and crying and crying. And it wasn't, you know how when you're, you know, oh, please. A baby may not feel good, a baby may have gas, a baby may have a messy diaper, the baby might be hungry. The lady had just been sick. She'd been nursing the baby, and they dried her up. The baby was hungry, and I guess she didn't have enough of supplement. So I go back and just trying to help. I said, is there anything I can do for you? And she said, can you nurse my baby? I said, I don't think so. I don't think I can. 78 years old. Oh, sure. Doesn't work. Then I get off the plane, and then she got so tickled. She goes, oh, you look young. I said, I'm 78. She goes, oh, you're the age of my grandmother. She's old. I said, I'm 78. She goes, you don't seem. I heard you all laughing up there and wondering what's going on. I wish I was sitting with you. And we just had fun, you know. I got to hold the baby, walking up and down the aisle with this arm. I will pay for it tonight. But she got to rest a little bit. And the baby starts, good little girls, don't cry, 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 cry. So why don't you be a good little girl? Brother Howells used to sing that. And so I would just sing that, and the baby calmed down and gave her back. We get there, and I made a promise to my husband I would use a wheelchair whenever I travel because of the hard floors. And when you have metal, do you ever think about the rapture? When I go, does it all fall out? Does it go with me? I mean, most people don't think about that, but I did. Does it just drop? I don't know. But anyway, so I get on the wheelchair because I promised I'd use a wheelchair, and I promised him. Well, 2 people didn't show up. It was one little boy who must have weighed 70 pounds, like a little drink of water. And he said, well, the other one's not here. I'll just push both of you. Well, the other lady was a much larger frame than me, probably about 400 or 500 pounds. I'm not joking, because she had to get 2 seats, pay for 2 seats. And I felt sorry for her. He says, I can push both of you. Okay. He wasn't doing good. She kept, and my wheelchair would smash into her wheelchair. And this is the leg I just had done, and it's still sore. And then finally he hit the wall on this side, and it was his leg again. But the real winner was when I got to go up this little hill with him. He was, like this, made me feel real special. And he let me go, and now I'm going backward by myself in a wheelchair down the hill, going sideways. Do you have things like this happen to you? And all I'm trying to get to this meeting. And finally, some man that I didn't know, he just helped push the wheelchair. We got downstairs. I said, sir, I'm going to walk the rest of the way. I'm waiting for my little friend, Jess, where is she? Jess, you can vouch for this. She had to keep going around because it was so crowded. She said she'd be in a blue Volvo. I don't know what a Volvo is. So I never saw so many blue cars. The one car stops right in front of me with colored, tinted windows. And I open the door, and he goes, well, hello. And I went, ah! He said, you're sure pretty. He looked like he was about 99 years old. And he said, you're sure pretty. I said, I was waiting for my ride. He goes, I'll take you anywhere. I have the afternoon free. I went, how did these things happen to me? You're going to have things go wrong, ladies. I want to talk tomorrow. I'm a minute off, forgive me. But tomorrow, I'm going to give you pointers and ideas to help your spirit and to give you courage. Verses of Scripture, I have many of them. It's time. Be of good cheer, Matthew 14:27. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer. John 16:33. Those I have spoken unto you, that ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. How many times? And give you some pointers and some fun little thoughts that might help you with your spirit. Ladies, it's a joy to be with you. It really is. I am so glad. I love the Southern people. The thing I don't understand is when they say to me, you have an accent. We talk like hoods. I'm from Chicago. We pull out a machine gun. Enjoy dinner.